At the heart of the Christian faith stands the resurrection. But my skeptical friends often ask me, how can you believe in something so incredible as the idea that somebody could rise from the dead? Don't incredible claims require incredible evidence? Well, the answer to that is no. Incredible claims just require very good evidence. And when it comes to the resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth, that's what we have. Very good evidence, good historical evidence. Let me share with you 4 historical facts that are agreed upon by almost all historians writing on the historical Jesus, whether they are Christian or Jewish or skeptical or even outrightly atheist. Here they are. Fact number 1, Jesus was killed on a Roman cross sometime around about AD 30. The crucifixion of Jesus was embarrassing to the early Christians. They claimed he was the Messiah, and the Messiah was supposed to overthrow the Romans, not get killed by them. In other words, no Christian would have made up the story of the crucifixion. As one historian put it, the crucifixion of Jesus is just about the most certain fact of first century history. Second, the empty tomb. On the Sunday morning following his death, the Gospels tell us that Jesus' tomb was found empty by a group of his women followers. Why can we be certain that's true? Well, for this reason. Women were considered bad witnesses, their evidence unreliable in the ancient Greco-Roman world. If Christians were making that story up, you would not have had women as the witnesses. That they are there has the ring of truth. Thirdly, the resurrection appearances. We know that in the weeks following his death and his resurrection, Jesus appeared to groups of his followers in different settings. Why can we be certain that happened? Well, because they don't have the sense of being hallucinations or visions or dreams. Firstly, group hallucinations don't actually exist. We have no evidence for such a phenomena as group hallucinations. And secondly, those resurrection appearances have a physical quality to them. Jesus touches his followers. He interacts with them. They eat breakfast together, not something you do if it's an hallucination or a ghost. And then fourthly, the conversion of skeptics. People like Paul, who was a persecutor of the church. He meets the risen Jesus on the Damascus Road, and the experience is so powerful, he goes from being persecutor to being disciple. Or the brother of Jesus, James, who during Jesus' earthly ministry believed that his brother was a lunatic, that he was insane. It's pretty embarrassing to the early church. But he meets the resurrected Jesus and he becomes a follower. He believes his brother is the resurrected Lord and Christ. 4 lines of evidence, but there's one more. If the resurrection didn't happen, you have the problem of how do you explain the beginning of the early church? The Jewish historian Pinchas Lapidi sums up the problem beautifully. He says, how do we explain the transformation of the disciples from a group of frightened men and women hiding from the authorities after Jesus was arrested and crucified? How do we explain them being transformed into the boldest, most confident missionary force in world history, willing to die for their beliefs? If the resurrection didn't transform them, what did? But there's a last question. If the resurrection happened, we then need to ask this question: what does it mean? Well, I think it means this. It's not just a random miracle. If Jesus rose from the dead, it vindicates all of the claims that he made during his earthly ministry. The outlandish claims in fact to be God himself. It also vindicates what he claimed he was trying to achieve: forgiveness of sins, breaking of the power of sin and death, and the promise of new resurrection life that he offers to each one of us. If Jesus rose from the dead, it means we need to take the claims that he made very seriously indeed.